Well, good morning. And any news about actor-director George Clooney is a Hollywood happening. Well, his latest film, Tomorrowland, is an action-adventure and just opened as #1 at the box office. Of the many interviews that I've done with George, my personal favorite is Leatherheads, where he plays a pro football player in 1925 who helped establish today's National Football League. Here's George.
Let me ask you a question. You like playing football?
I love playing football.
For a special breed of men called Leatherheads, the rules were simple.
You hit anybody that comes near him.
There were no rules.
Hey! Oh, I like him.
But when the game they loved was going under,
We're broke now. Our season just started.
Time to pack it up and go home.
Dodge Conley had the plan
It's your intention to legitimize professional football?
to build it back up.
Carter Rutherford leaves Princeton to play for the Duluth Bulldogs.
What?
I enjoyed Leatherheads from the open to the end and everything in between.
Oh, great.
So let's begin with the open. I loved it. The shot of the Princeton Tigers football game. All those guys, everyone had a hat on.
Right. Well, they did. Well, everybody wore hats then.
And 30,000, 40,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
College football in the 20s.
And even as many as 70,000 in some of the Princeton and Yale games. And it's really interesting because at the time, pro football was maybe 50 people showing up.
Yeah, in pro football at that time in the 1920s, which was set in 25, was a joke.
It was really a joke. Yeah, it didn't exist. They were closing teams down left and right.
And think now. I'm from Arizona. We hosted the Super Bowl in Glendale. You may have been there. I know John was there.
I wasn't there, no.
You weren't there. But think how far it's come
I know. And
since the Pioneers.
in particular, this last game, which was a pretty good one. Yeah, it's such a different, we watched, as we were looking at tapes, we'd watched the different rules as they were sort of implemented. Used to, if you got knocked out of bounds, you took the ball out on the sideline right there. And so the whole, you'd have 11 guys piled into the corner over there. There's a lot of funny, different rules in there right now.
One rule you did was accurate, and it was really great. I was glad to see it. Up until the 60s, I think, the goalposts were on the goal line.
On the goal line.
Not 10 yards back.
So you drill somebody right into the goalpost.
We're talking football, and I can't, because this is such a short interview, but it's a romantic comedy, a love story, beautiful story.
Oh, thanks. Isn't she great, Renee?
Renee, Irene Dunn.
Irene Dunn, and Irene Dunn's a good call. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Mr. Deeds goes to town a little bit.
A little bit. I actually, since I spent the summer rewriting this, and I was ripping off His Girl Friday and Philadelphia Story and Hail the Conquering Hero. You could name a bunch of them that I was. But I was looking at Preston Sturges and Howard Hawks films for the whole time.
A typical question that you'll get all day, wearing both hats.
Both helmets.
Both helmets, the leather helmets, without a face mask. And starring in the film at the same time.
Right. Tricky. Tricky, but, easier in one sense. I know as an actor, I know what the director wants in the scene. Not embarrassing mostly, because if it's you and I doing a scene together, it's a little embarrassing if I'm sitting there going, I say, and cut, and I go, okay, you know what you ought to do. It's not you have to just talk with the actors beforehand and say, look, this is about some sort of freakish ego.
All that said around a beautiful look of the film as well. And the music, Randy Newman, over there, say a prayer. Oh my God, I just get goosebumps thinking about it,
It's one of those songs, I remember hearing that with a men's choir somewhere. And that's a song that when a bunch of guys sing it, it just gives you goosebumps.
With a beer.
Yeah.
A couple of plays we ran at Princeton.
A lot of our plays are pretty strong.
These are a lot like your plays, only a little more effective.
I've got some decisions to make.
In a minute.
Where were you two?
Out.
Nowhere.
This spring,
Game of professional football has come of age.
That means rules.
We ain't never played any game clean.
let the games begin.
Throw one.
You're the injured party, you get the first punch.
Leatherheads.
Well, Leatherheads is now available on DVD Blu-ray. George Clooney's Tomorrowland is playing in theaters now, along with the action drama San Andreas starring Dwayne Johnson and the romantic comedy Aloha starring Bradley Cooper and Arizona's own Emma Stone. I'm going to see you right here next Tuesday on The Morning Blend.